fiscal year, new chaos. Fiscal year 2026 is shaking things up. And from visa backlogs to H-1B fees to H-1B drops, a lot of things are happening. And now we are going to talk about what is real and what is just social media and Reddit noise. And to break it all down, today we have with us immigration attorney Charles Kuck from Kuck Baxter Immigration Firm. Well, we are going to welcome Charles to Immigration Talk Show. But before I do that, let me read out this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not legal advice. Use of information is at your own risk. So now, without any further ado, it's a very important topic. So let's welcome Charles on Immigration Talk Show. Hi, Charles. Welcome to Immigration Talk Show.
How you doing? I love your disclaimer. It's totally awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your lovely comment. And we are so happy to have you back. And I know you used to do shows with Nipasa, and today I'll be hosting the show. So I hope you're looking forward.
I certainly am. Let's have a fun discussion today. I know you've got a lot of questions.
I do. I certainly do. So we are going to take a lot of questions, and I would like to tell our viewers that we are live on YouTube and on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So if you have any question related to the topic, what you can do is you can drop your comments. You can drop your questions in the comment section, and also you can give us a call on the number which is displayed on screen. It'll be up in a second. Here it is, 425-436-6335, and you can put the access code 988888. Yes, you can also give us a call on this number if you have any questions that you would like to ask from Charles. And now I would like to ask questions from Charles. So Charles, a lot of things are happening. People, 2025 has been very hard for, mostly everyone, but especially on immigrants, and that to immigrants in the US. So what do you think, how is fiscal year 2026 is going to be? Do you think immigration policies and all other things are going to get worse in the upcoming year?
I think we have only just begun to drink from the fire hose that Trump's anti-immigration policies is going to be spewing at us. And I do believe that 2026 is going to be worse than 2025 because the individual running this, Donald Trump is not running immigration issues, right? He doesn't understand how immigration works. But his number one guy, Stephen Miller, does. And this is his issue. And he is salivated since he was 12 years old for this opportunity to go out and go after immigrants. And it's not just undocumented immigrants. The great irony is that so many Indian Americans voted for Trump because he was going to get rid of the illegal immigrants. The reality is that's never been their plan. Their plan all along has been legal immigrants, and now we're seeing those attacks begin. We're seeing it with the H-1B tax. We're going to be seeing it with the H-1B wage. We're going to see attacks on the L1s. We're going to see attacks on the labor certification process. We're going to see them moving away from how NIWs are done for EB2s. We're going to see changes to the EB1 program with Trump's new gold card likely coming in there. The fire hose is going to get bigger. Sorry.
Okay. And, we just today, I think we saw this news. I think USCIS put it up on their website. And it said that USCIS has got enforcement power, law enforcement power now. So did you hear about it too?
Oh, no. They announced this several weeks ago, actually. And they've always had enforcement powers. This is not new. What's new is it's now a focus of the agency. The name of the agency ends in the word service. I think they want to take that out. And they want to put in U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Enforcement. And as a result, we're going to see a lot more people put into deportation proceedings than ever before by the USCIS. In fact, there was a Reddit post put up a couple of weeks ago by a supervisor at USCIS that was leaving, and he's a lawyer. And somebody asked him, well, why are they doing naturalization and green card cases so fast? And his answer was, it's not because they want to have more citizens. It's because they think they can get more people into deportation proceedings. as a result of people applying for naturalization that aren't technically eligible. And in fact, they have put 26,000 people into deportation proceedings this year, which is about 25,500 more than they did the previous year. So yeah, enforcement's coming to the USCIS, which points out the need to have a lawyer assisting at all times on these cases.
Right. Okay. So, Charles, what major immigration policy changes or proposals are expected for fiscal year 2026?
Well, we're going to be seeing the H-1B fee rule that'll be coming down here. Not the fee rule, the H-1B wage rule, which was stopped. I was part of the group that sued and stopped it in 2020. They're going to come back with a second iteration of that. It will be harder to stop this time, but I think we will be able to stop it. And of course, you've seen the proposed lottery changes for this next year, where the higher your wage, the basically more chances you have in the lottery, which is great if you work in San Francisco or LA or New York or Chicago. Terrible if your job is in Salt Lake City or Des Moines, Iowa, because you're not going to get picked in the lottery. You're just not going to make enough money to get enough entry chances. There's a lawsuit coming on that. As soon as that rule is in effect, there will be a lawsuit filed. I think we'll win that lawsuit because the reality is the administration doesn't have the authority to do the lottery this way. We're going to see L1 investigations ramp up. I think we're going to see some changes to the L1 regulations on who can qualify. Right now, there's a feeling that Indian outsourcing companies are abusing the L1 visa. So they may bar the use of the L1 visa by people in certain industries. And of course, we've got the implementation of the H-1B tax. Now, we sued last week on that. We think we're going to be successful when the lawsuit actually gets to court and a court hears it. But for now, though, that rule is in place, although the USCIS nor CBP nor Department of State have issued regulations on that. And of course, that's just in the USCIS side. We're going to see a higher rate of denials for visas at the Department of State, longer wait times for visas because they have fewer employees. They fired a bunch of people. And we're going to continue to see much more aggressive denials and of refusals of entry at ports of entry for individuals who can't properly explain the basis of their entry on their work visa to the United States. None of this. There's nothing coming out that's going to be good news for immigrants.
Okay. Well, as sad as it sounds, but that's the truth. And Charles, I actually did this show with another attorney. We were talking about all these new changes and immigration policies, and what the attorney said is the current administration, they claim to make America great again, but now with the policies that is coming and the changes that are happening, so it's not about making America great again. But what he said was they want to make America white again. So is that the case?
Make white America great again. I have a similar take on that, and that's just reality. This is a race-based action by this administration. You call it anything else you want to, but it's clearly what it is, and it's intentional. The folks like Stephen Miller that are running this, and the head of USCIS, the head of CBP and ICE. These are all people deeply involved in the anti-immigration movement. They don't want any immigrants in America. This is terrible for the United States. This has long-term apocalyptic consequences for America. One other change, by the way, is making it harder for students to get visas. Trump wants to limit schools that take money from the government, which is almost all of them, to no more than 15% of their student body. Foreign students have kept many schools afloat for the last 20 years. So you will see schools going bankrupt. You will see hospitals close because they can't get doctors and nurses in rural areas. This is going to be perhaps the worst self-inflicted injury by a successful economy since the collapse of Venezuela.
So, you have been an immigration attorney under a lot of administration and a lot of presidents. So I would like to know from you that were things this hard or this tough for immigrants ever before?
No. Well, at least not since Eisenhower in 1958 during Operation Wetback when they rounded up and deported 2 million Mexicans. No, we haven't seen there's like this in my lifetime. And I hope we never see it again. The joke is, it seems like Trump's been president for 4 years and Biden was president 100 years ago, but it's only been 9 months. This is going to get far worse before it gets better. The only light on the horizon is our upcoming elections in November 2026, which could flip one of the houses of Congress, which would enable investigations to start and to slow down these massive changes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for answering all these questions, Charles. I see a lot of people join us and have posted their question in the comment section. So before I take up my next question, I would like to take the questions from our audiences. So I think Cynthia is here and Rajendra is also here. So let me quickly take Cynthia's question first. So Cynthia says, a lot of my colleagues are stuck in administrative processing even after approvals. Do you think consular delays will get worse in the new fiscal year, or are there signs of improvement? What do you have to say?
There are no signs of improvement. This is going to get much worse. They are weaponizing the administrative processing terminology to basically delay issuance of visas for people they just don't like, for whom they don't have a basis to deny the visa. So yes, we're going to see this accelerate and expand beyond the H category. We're going to see a great deal of it in the immigrant visa categories, because again, they want to limit legal immigration to the United States. And one way to do that is simply just delay their entry through delaying the administrative process.
Right. So, what is the best plan forward for the immigrants? Because I'm sure, all of them are in a lot of confusion, a lot of dilemma. So as an immigration attorney, what would you like to suggest them and tell them?
I hear Germany is great this time of year. There's no way to get around this problem. You can tell people, obey the law, carry your papers with you at all times. They're arresting U.S. citizens because of their color. This is nobody's safe in the United States under Trump. Nobody. He's inviting people to leave. Well, honestly, explore other countries.
That's the best option for now?
There's a lot of countries competing for the talent that Trump is chasing away, whether it's France or Germany or England or Canada, even Mexico, even China. Our global competitors want people that want to succeed. And, the great thought that America is the land of milk and honey and the streets are paved with gold, that's not true under Trump. And if you think it is, you're sadly mistaken. And maybe you want to maintain your life in your home country. Maybe you want to succeed there. Even India itself seems to be picking up the clues here that they need to do a better job of keeping people home to improve the Indian economy and the Indian way of life than sending them to America. It's again, perhaps the worst thing to happen in the United States since the Civil War.
Wow, that's a big statement. And again, thank you so much for answering the question, Charles. And now let me quickly take Rajendra's question too, because that also seemed another important question. He says, I'm currently on OPT and my employer is hesitant about filing an H-1B due to the new compliance rules. Do you think fiscal year 2026 will bring stricter audits for smaller companies sponsoring first-time H-1Bs?
Oh, this is designed to force smaller companies out of the system. There's no small company that's going to pay $100,000. Nobody has that kind of money. NVIDIA came out today and said, yeah, we're happily pay the $100,000. Of course, because they have like $1 trillion of wealth. They can afford to bribe Trump with his $100,000 tax. So smaller companies are out of luck. The good news is we're going to win the lawsuit. And so this $100,000 fee will really never see the light of day. But at the same time, it will scare a lot of employers away. And because there will be more compliance audits, there will be more FD&S site visits, companies will simply say, you know what? Why don't we open a plant in India? Why don't we open our offices in India and move you there? You're going to see this happening more and more. Larger companies are already doing it.
But amidst all this chaos and all these, confusion, problems, and panic situation, do you see a ray of light, at the end of the tunnel, or
Uh,
it's
in
all
3 years, 3 years and 5 months, I do.
okay?
I don't see a light while Trump is president, unless miraculously the Democrats can control both houses of Congress. I don't see it changing. And even then, I don't think they have enough votes to pass anything that will fix the system.
Okay. And there are also a lot of talks about H-1B lottery reforms. So what's actually on the table?
H-1B lottery reform, well, they've already announced that they are going to give more lottery entries to people with a level 4 wage, which is the highest wage under the Department of Labor system, than a level 1 wage. So there's no longer a level playing field. So if you're right out of college, nobody is making level 4 wages right out of college unless you're a genius working for NVIDIA. And then you'll get, I don't know, 4 or 8 different entries instead of 1 entry. So the lottery itself, again, they haven't announced the details yet for this coming year, other than this particular reform. But we do anticipate that will be out by the end of the year.
Okay. Okay. Charles, we have a couple of Reddit questions, UGC questions from Reddit.
Put them up. Let's take a look at them.
Yeah, so I would like to read and ask their questions from you. So there's one post that said, so I saw a post making rounds that said no more EB2 visas will be issued for the rest of fiscal year 2025. Is that actually true? And does that mean the entire backlog just freezes until next year?
Well, it's true because fiscal year 2025 is over. Our fiscal years run from October 1st to September 30th. Yeah. So yes, they ran out of EB2s in the middle of September. They're supposed to run out of EB2s and EB3s and EB1s. They're supposed to run out. That's why there's a limit. But they're all back now, which is why you've seen some movement in some of the areas. So yeah, fiscal year 2025 is over.
Right. And the next one says, if EB2 hits the annual visa limit before the year even ends, what happens to everyone mid-process? Do they just sit in limbo or risk losing their place in line?
Oh, no, they're just frozen. They're just frozen and they pick back up on October 1st. So you're good. Nobody loses their place in line.
Okay. Okay. And then there's another one which says, looking ahead to 2026, are we expecting another year of H-1B and green card chaos, or is this the moment of the system finally gets a real reboot?
I think I answered that already. Chaos is Trump. It's his middle name. So yeah, we're going to see more chaos, more hate, more negative changes coming in 2026. It's an election year. Yeah. The anti-immigrants are going to play up how strong they are and how many people they've deported and how many families they've hurt and how many citizens they've killed. They're going to play it up for their base. The only question is whether Democrats are prepared to respond. So far, I don't think they are.
Okay. And what about these, visa fee changes? Are they, are visa fees or processing times likely to change again this year?
So, you will likely see some more changes before the lottery takes place for next year's H-1Bs. The thing is, the good news is the Biden administration already made changes in their last year, which makes it more difficult for the Trump administration to make things harder. I mean, because Biden did make things harder. So I don't think we'll see substantive changes. I do think you'll see a real focus on requests for evidence on H-1Bs to really confirm that the job is a specialty job. And right now, if you don't have the exact degree of the job it requires, you're probably going to be denied. The days when you could have a business degree and go work as a manager of a gas station, and swear to God, those were the days. They existed. Those days are over.
Okay.
Basically, a general business degree will not get you an H-1B in the United States anymore. Not even sure an MBA will.
Okay. Okay. Thank you again for answering the question, Charles. And guys, I hope you are enjoying this very insightful conversation that is going on with immigration attorney Charles Kuck. And if you are, make sure to like this video, share this video with anybody who you think can benefit from all this information, and do subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. And if you would like to ask any question that you have in mind about today's topic from attorney Charles Kuck, make sure to post your questions in the comment section. And you can also give us a call on the number 425-436-6335. You can put the access code 988888. Yes, we are waiting to hear from you. Make sure to continue posting your questions, and also follow-ups if you have any. Now, Charles, I would like to come back to you and again ask you that, could someone's existing status, H-1B, L-1, or J-1, be affected if new rules kick in mid-year?
Well, are they? I don't know what they're referring to. What rules? If you're thinking about the $100,000 fee, that the CIS is telling us that does not apply to changes of status. It does not apply to extensions of status. The reason is simple, because if the fee is legal in any way, it's only legal on entry to the United States. So if you're already here, they can't charge you a fee. So I don't see any other rules kicking in right now, unless the wage rule is published and made effective immediately. But I don't think it will be. And again, I think they will be put on hold by a court.
Okay. And if someone is out of country, or maybe is on a vacation, and if they plan to return back to the US, do you think they will be hit by the fee?
That's a good question. Right now, what we know, and we don't know a lot, is that the new fee only applies to H-1Bs filed with USCIS after September 21st. So if you had your H-1B and you leave and you come back, you should not be subject to the fee at any time.
Okay. I think Fawad Ali has also posted his question. Let me read that. He says, I was laid off recently, and even though I found a new employer, the transfer process feels more unpredictable than before. Are things changing this fiscal year that might make these transactions smoother or riskier?
I wouldn't say the H-1B process is unpredictable. I would just say that it's more difficult. But good lawyers won't have a problem with it. It's the mediocre lawyers that will have a problem with it. So I think you're fine, and still, I really wouldn't worry about extensions or changes. I think you're perfectly fine.
Okay. So, from an experienced immigration attorney, how should one identify? Because amidst all this chaos and everything, they must be looking, the immigrants must be looking for an experienced and a good immigration attorney. So, I will recommend them to get in touch with you and to contact you. And I think my team is definitely...
Well, I appreciate that. We certainly have a great team of people here. But there's really great lawyers out there on business. I am part of an organization called the Alliance of Business Immigration Lawyers, or ABIL, A-B-I-L. And we have 23 members across the United States and many others around the world of law firms like mine we've vetted. They have great people. They have great results, people that you can trust. And if you go to ABIL.com, A-B-I-L.com, there's great lawyers on that list in every part of the United States. Besides...
Yes, absolutely. Guys, if you want to get in touch with attorney Charles Kuck, you can visit this, this link of bit.ly/Kuck Baxter. And yes, you will be able to get in touch with him. You will have his contact number and all the details that you are looking, you're looking forward to. So make sure to get in touch with attorney Charles Kuck. And for all the confusion and all the chaos and everything that you have in mind, please get in touch with him and his team. They are, while hearing his answers, I'm sure you must be able to, understand that how experienced and how amazing the team is.
Makes all the difference in the world, And you might have a young lawyer working on your case from a big firm, but again, there's the big firm is standing behind them. But what I love about the ABIL law firms like myself is everything is very hands-on, very touchy. Our paralegals don't just do H-1Bs. They don't just do LCA. Our people have a broad experience, so they can spot issues much more quickly. They can really better understand how the entire system works.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again, Charles. And now that you have mentioned LCA, I would like to ask questions about PERM and LCA too. So, if someone's PERM or LCA is pending in as the fiscal year turns, does that delay everything?
Say that one more time. I didn't follow that question.
I wanted to ask that if someone's PERM or LCA is pending as the fiscal year turns, does that delay everything?
When you say LC, you mean this labor certification or the labor
Yeah.
condition certification? Well, the PERM case and PERM cases take right now, 2.5, maybe even almost 3 years in some cases to get adjudicated. That doesn't really affect your H-1B in any way, other than letting you extend beyond the 6 years.
Okay. And what about, will 2026 bring stricter documentation and more RFEs? Do you think that's going to also happen?
Oh no, you're going to see a massive increase in RFEs. You're going to see a massive increase, really in everything. You're going to see massive increases in everything. 100% going to happen.
Is it going to be as high as $100,000?
Oh, $100,000, I think, is going away. All right, I think we're going to win that lawsuit. We've got a great team of people on it, so I'm really not worried about the $100,000. I think, however, that what you need to worry about is how hard they're going to be, how much difficult they're going to be making their cases.
Okay. And how should professionals plan their renewals or transfers under this uncertainty?
Well, you should be filing for renewals at least 6 months out. Period. End of story. If you're not renewing 6 months out, you're being foolish at that point. I also don't think you should be paying premium processing unless you have a dire need of travel, because premium processing cases tend to be adjudicated at a higher request for evidence rate and a higher denial rate.
Okay. And now that everything is about documentations and documents, so what do you suggest? I mean, what all documents should the immigrants have, should have ready all the time?
Well, honestly, you probably should carry your I-94 card and a copy of your passport with you. If you have a green card, just keep your green card on. It's a law to carry your green card with you. I think that's a good practice because you never know who ICE is going to go after next. I mean, obviously, they've been focusing mostly on Latinos, but what happens when they raid a big software company? I mean, who knows the crazy stuff they're going to be doing?
Absolutely. The future seems very unpredictable right now. And, I mean, you already have suggested people to look forward to maybe changing their country. But still, here I have a question where people are also asking, should people consider switching categories like NIW or O1 if 2026 looks rough?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you qualify for an O1 is much better than an H-1B, in my opinion, because it's easy. It's easier for employers to get and much easier to change employers with an O1. And obviously for Indian nationals, whether you're EB2 or EB3, to me, appears to be irrelevant because they're both a 200-year wait. What you want to try to do is get into the EB1 category. Now, if Trump's new gold card is going to be an EB1, which is what it probably will be because he can't create a new category out of thin air, only Congress can do that, then I would tell you to save your money until you have $1 million. Just buy a green card from Trump if that's your goal. But again, you have to look at this. Is our country going to get better when he's gone, or is it going to stay like this for a generation? If it's going to stay like this for a generation, maybe you want to get the heck out of here.
Okay. So, Charles, we have another viewer join us who wanted to ask his question, and his name is Venkatram, and he says, I have seen friends stuck in 221G administrative processing for months. Are those consular delays expected to continue in fiscal year 2026, or is there any sign the system's catching up?
The system can't catch up because they've laid off a whole bunch of employees. They're not hiring anybody at the Department of State. How can it catch up? The only way it catches up is if the volume substantially decreases. But they're not doing administrative processing because there's more questions. They're doing administrative processing to delay cases intentionally. It's all intentional. It's not an accident, which is why many people are now having to sue the government to get their case moving forward. So yeah, this is going to continue, and I think it's going to get worse.
Okay. Okay. So another UGC, few other UGC questions from Reddit. So there's this person who said, let's start with something that's really worrying people. If the Department of Labor backlog spills over into next year, do applicants actually risk losing their priority date, or does it carry forward automatically?
I didn't understand that question. Let's take. Okay, here it is.
Mhm.
No, nobody loses their priority date. Your priority date is set in stone. Priority date is set in stone when you file that labor cert. Period. Whether they take a year, 2 years, or 10 years, your priority date is there. So don't worry about the Department of Labor backlogs. If you're an Indian national, it doesn't really matter at this point because you're not getting a green card anytime soon anyway. So you're just doing this to buy time at least until you can do an EB1, an EB5, or decide to go somewhere else. They're counting on you leaving, by the way. You know that. That's what they're betting on. That's what they're forcing you into.
Okay. And also, this another person said on Reddit that there's been a lot of talk about H-1B applications dropping nearly 25% this year. Do you think that's because people are giving up on the system, or are companies quietly moving those jobs overseas?
Oh no, there's definitely movement overseas, and I think we're going to see if for some way. Well, by the way, the reason this last year they dropped was because this is really the first year the lottery was not fixed. So people didn't have to submit duplicates. They didn't have to go around the system. So I think that drop was directly tied to how the lottery was run and not because of demand lowering. I think there will be much lower demand this next year if this $100,000 fee is in place because only the wealthiest of employers, and this has to be paid by the employer, can afford this fee. So, if you have a wealthy employer, and you file for the lottery, I think there's a 100% chance you get the visa because they're the ones that can pay the fee.
But would you suggest people, to rush filings before new 2026 rules drop, or is waiting safer?
Well, the rule's still in place. So, at this point, there's nothing you can do this year that's going to affect next year. The only people that should be rushing anything are people applying for citizenship, because on October 20th, the citizenship rules change and the tests become much harder and longer. So if you're eligible for citizenship because you've had a green card for 5 years or 3 years married to a U.S. citizen, you should be applying this week for your citizenship and not waiting.
Okay. And what about people with, publications and advanced degrees? What are realistic alternatives for them?
Well, again, advanced degrees should always be an EB2, but what you really want to do is figure out how, again, if you're an Indian, you got to figure out how to get into EB1 or how you're going to save enough money to do EB5. Because EB2 and EB3 are not becoming current in our lifetimes as of right now. And I don't see the Congress doing anything to add numbers, not while the demagogues on anti-immigration are in power.
Okay. And thank you so much for answering all these questions, Charles. We also have a lot of questions from Facebook too. People have posted a couple of questions there, which we would like to take now. So I think let me read this question that is posted by Kanika Garg, and she says, "Hi all, do we have clarity now whether H-1B 100K rule will apply to current F1 OPT students getting submit for 2026 H-1B lottery?"
We do not. We do not have that clarity yet. At least for Apple, I have had colleagues and myself file change of status applications after September 21st from J's and F's for cap exempt folks, and they're clearly fine. There's no $100,000 fee in place yet. We'll know a lot more by the end of the year. So we think we'll have our litigation resolved by the end of the year or early next year.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kanika, for your question. Let me move to Michael Scott now. Michael says, "Hello, I have my STEM OPT approval and soon EAD card. I will be traveling to India for holiday. Just wanted to check what all documents should I have handy for port of entry while coming back. I understand updated I-20. What else?"
Well, you should have your I-20, your F1 stamp, your letter of acceptance. You should carry a copy of the I-134 with you about supporting yourself. If you're traveling after you first entered the country, and so you're in school, you're coming back after vacation, you should also have a copy of your last semester's grades and a copy of your upcoming class list. If you are traveling on OPT, you want also have, besides all those things, you want your diploma, you want to have a letter from your employer, you want your most recent pay stubs in your pocket in case you're questioned. So you definitely want to be prepared if you're going to travel outside the United States under OPT.
Okay. Again, thank you so much again, Charles, for the answer, guys. We are here for another 5 minutes. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask from Charles, make sure to post them in the comment section. We are here for another 5 minutes, like I said, and yes, we'll be more than happy to take your questions. But for now, let me move again back to the Facebook questions. So the next question is from Ashok, and he says, has anyone got H1/H4 extended recently in premium processing? Did you get 3 years of extension or lesser? I'm filing for H1/H4 extension in premium processing now. My client does not allow to share SOW, but is giving client letter until the date 31st December 2025. Will I get 3 years of extension, or it is based on client letter date only? Did anyone file it recently and got full 3 years? What would you like to tell?
Question, what does he mean by recently? Is he talking about after the $100,000 fee? I don't know. We've had some approved for all 3 years, but I think he's asking his fellow people on this chat about this. I mean, I will tell you, we've had success in this, but maybe other people have not.
Okay, but as an immigration attorney, what would you like to suggest, Ashok, for now?
Ask that question in about a month when we have more clarity.
Well, that's the best answer, I would say. Okay, moving on to the next chat or the next viewer, and that is Ayman. And Ayman says, for the STEM OPT RFE, I've already responded via website. Shall I need to send mail hard copy to USCIS? Please let me know. Thanks in advance.
That's a really good question. If you responded via the website, you should be fine. We always send a hard copy. We don't respond on the website because I don't trust their website. Don't really trust the mail either, but we FedEx it to them. But one thing I know is you don't have to do both. You pick one and do one or the other.
Okay. So moving on to the next person, the next viewer is Simran, and Simran says, has anyone left? I think again this is a chat question that she may be asking from the fellow people, but still, as an attorney, I would like to also would like to know your take too. Has anyone left the US while the STEM OPT visa is pending state? I had applied for my STEM OPT extension on 29/5/2025, and it still shows pending. Can I travel to India? How safe is it in these situations?
Well, I will simply tell you that the USCIS is slowing down the processing of EADs. So it's not a surprise that it's been 4 months, and still pending. But I don't see any problem with you coming back as long as you have a valid F1 stamp in your passport already. If you need a new F1 stamp, I think you may have a problem.
Okay. So I think, we have got another viewer on YouTube, and he has posted his question. His name is Iftikhar, and he says, EB3 workers visa bulletin prediction for November. Do you have any, Charles, for now?
Well, generally, in the first 3 months of the year, dates do advance regularly because it's the first 3 months of the year. You might not know this, but of the 40,000 available EB3s every year, they try to issue 10,000 each quarter, which is why they run out near the end of the fourth quarter, because sometimes they get ahead of themselves. So you should see some minor movement. Can't give you a date, but I think we'll see some forward movement. But understand, other workers they're capped at 10,000 of the 40,000, but that doesn't mean 10,000 have to be issued. None can be issued too. So last year there were not 10,000 issued for other workers. If we're gonna see, we might see a little movement, but other workers, if we look at historical other worker category, that category now may be a 10 to 15 year long category. for everybody, for worldwide numbers, not just India. So you might see some movement, but it's going to be slow.
Okay, okay. How about if if you have some time, maybe we can do after the visa bulletin comes out, we can do a show with you on the visa bulletin if you're available.
Always happy to talk about the visa bulletin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charles. We'll definitely get in touch with you. And now, before I let you go, I would like to ask from you that do you think 2026 will widen the gap between, rich versus skilled people and, in the US immigration system?
Well, again, we're not going to see any positive changes. Nothing good is going to happen because they don't want anything good to happen. Plus, any changes to the system would require Congress to act on, and this Congress is not going to pass anything good. Our best hope is the status quo. Our best hope is things don't change, but I fear that that's a misplaced hope.
Okay. We were thinking of ending and wrapping up the show, but looks like we have more viewers joining us and they have posted their questions. So Ricky is here and one question is from LinkedIn. So if you have some time, I would like to read them and maybe take them for you. Will that be okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So this LinkedIn user says, I entered the US in August and lost my job in September. I plan to return to my home country in the last week of November. I don't have any pay slips or W-2 forms from my short employment. If I get a new job offer later, can I return to the US on the same approved H-1B petition through a different employer? Will I be required to show any documentation like pay slips or W-2 from my previous employment during visa stamping or at port of entry?
You should tell you won't. First of all, you don't have any in the show. So a new employer will have to file an H-1B for you, but you can use the existing H-1B stamp for the new employer. Generally, at the port of entry, you don't have to show anything about a prior employer, just to show the new approval notice and the offer letter. So I think you should be fine.
And any documents that you should be very careful about?
No, just what I talked about.
Okay. Okay. And there's another viewer named Ricky, and Ricky says, I'm in the US and plan to travel to my home country for stamping. Will those with approved H-1B have to pay 100K after first time visa stamping in the home country upon entry into the US?
Again, we don't really know the full answer to this question. What we've seen is that no, you would not, because you already have an H before September 21st. Mm-hmm. But again, things can change with these people.
Well, that's how it is now. And he also goes on to say, should one consider downgrading from EB2 to EB3 if EB3 I-140 processing wait times are lesser now? It's showing 17.5 months for EB2 I-140.
I'm running for India? Well, what magical place does this exist? I'm looking at the visa bulletin here from October, and I don't know where the 17-month thing is coming from. If you're just looking at the dates, so EB2 says 1 December 23, and third is 1 April 23, but for India it's 2013. So if you're talking about worldwide numbers, that might look like a 18-month time frame, but it's not. It's significantly longer. I actually write my blog. I need to write my blog. But I finally got the FOIA from immigration a couple months ago with all the numbers. This is EB3 is probably a 5-year wait, and EB2 is probably a 4 to 5 year wait too, even for worldwide numbers. And it's only getting bigger. At least it will until the numbers people stop processing.
Okay. And he's also asking, Charles, that USCIS processing times are increasing manifold. Can you give some idea on how service center times and functioning have changed under the new SCOPS classification for all centers?
That's interesting. I mean, processing times are getting longer, except as I explained for adjustment, marriage-based adjustment, and for naturalization, because the people that do that job have been assigned to enforcement. There are fewer people doing these jobs. So at the end of the day, everything is going to take longer, and they want it to take longer. This is all part of the plan.
Okay. All right.
I got like 2 minutes left, so let's wrap this up here.
Thank you so much, Charles. Just one last thing that Ricky has posted. He said, okay, he says, sorry, I meant 17.5 months is the NIW processing time.
Well, that might be for USCIS. They might process that long. That's not your waiting time. Your waiting time is forever.
Okay.
I would never premium process an NIW, ever.
Okay. All right. So, Ricky, I hope you have got your answer for all the questions that you posted in such short time. So, thank you so much for participating in the webinar. And Charles, let's end on a practical note. So, what's one concrete thing immigrants can do right now to prepare themselves for whatever 2026 brings for them?
I mean, what country can they go to? Is that what I heard you ask?
Maybe
Because
that's what you can suggest.
my suggestion is to look at
Germany
Germany.
is top of the list, but what is apart from Germany? Because I see the immigration protests happening not just in the US but also in different countries. I've seen that happening in the UK and in Australia. Was
Well,
happening.
yeah, all the white countries are keeping immigrants out, except for Germany and France, because they realize that, hey, we need these people. Our countries are going to shrink and we won't be competitive. Let's get the best people. The U.S. isn't taking them anymore. I mean, heck, you go to the UK. I mean, you go to Germany. College is free. It's free. Healthcare, it's included in your taxes. I mean, none of that stuff exists here. The only downside is you got to learn German.
Maybe that can add to your skill too. So thank you so much again, Charles, for being here. Chandrasekhar, I know you have posted your question, but maybe we can take your question in the next show because Charles, he is, he has to go because he is busy and he has a lot of cases that he has to overlook. So thank you so much again, Charles, for being here. We are hoping to see you very soon after the visa bulletin comes out. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and for posting all of your questions. We really enjoyed this amazing show with attorney Charles Kuck, and we asked all of your questions. I know, Chandrasekhar, you have a very important question posted, but we are definitely going to take up in the next show. And maybe you can write to me on my email and I can personally reply to your question, getting an answer from an attorney. My email is rajni@staffingly.com. So make sure you write to me on my email. But for now, I'll also have to take your leave and I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. But until I see you, make sure to keep liking, keep sharing, and subscribing to Immigration Talk Show. I'm Rajni Bharara, host. Take care and good